And yeah, man, she's one of the GOATs, one of the greats. Not only that, we have to talk about Jewell Loyd, Dana Evans, and Alyssa Smith and their comeback arcs. Because you guys got to remember, man, they were pretty much kind of thrown aside, right? They didn't have the best. Well, Jewell Loyd still had a pretty solid season last year, but you could tell towards the end she started to fall off and falter. She was bad-mouthed, by Seattle. They pretty much kind of threw her out to the trash. Obviously she had some issues with some of her teammates that felt she wasn't playing up to par. And, two things can be true at the same time, right? Dana Evans didn't really have a good season, on my Chicago Sky. I'm a Chicago Sky fan, huge Chicago Sky. Dana Evans didn't play great last year. She didn't really fit into the system that we had at least last season. They tried to kind of put her in that point guard role. She didn't do good. But she won a ring with Chicago, coming off the bench when we had Kahleah Copper, Candace Parker, Allie Quigley, and she was pretty solid coming off the bench. And she had a similar role here with the Aces. And I think, she excels in that, and she showed why she can be a really good piece in this league when utilized correctly. And she was a big part of, the Aces winning in the finals and kind of dominating. I'm not saying, she was putting up A'ja Wilson type of impact, but if you look at the bench play between Phoenix and the Aces bench did better. And a lot of that is due to Jewell Loyd and Dana Evans. Jewell Loyd was lighting it up from the three-point line all finals, bro. All finals long. She looked amazing. She looked great. She came to play. She looked like Jewell Loyd of old. And now Jewell Loyd is now 10-0 in NBA Finals games, which is crazy. And she's a big part of that. When she was in Seattle, she was big time, got the moniker Gold Mamba. And now in the Aces, she played big time in the finals. Look, man, if I'm on the other team and I'm looking at the other side and I see Jewell Loyd there, I'm terrified, because Jewell Loyd in the finals is straight money. And we got to talk about Alyssa Smith. She was on Indiana Fever. Fever fans were trashing her, harassing her, calling her all types of out her name and things of that nature. Then she went to Dallas, where she was kind of trying to find her way there, was struggling a little bit. Dallas looked at her and, fans were still saying the same old thing. But on the Aces, she came through. And around the time she came through was when the Aces turned their season around and when they went on that huge run.